Hi, I'm sk5. It's been a while since I've made an actual knife review, and this is going to be a short one over two fairly large knives. It's the Traumaster, the sk5 version, and the San Mai III version. I'm going to tell you about my experiences, my thoughts on the two knives. I'm not really going to get into stats as much because they're pretty much identical far as size. There's a small weight difference, and that's about it. Of course, you got your different steel. You got your sk5 high carbon steel right here, and then you have your San Mai III. Now, really quickly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this on camera, but I'm going to try to show you the steel and the San Mai III. And in person, you can see that there's a difference. Now, you might be able to see that line right in the middle. You got kind of a higher chromial color of steel, and I'm going to try to position this where you can see it. And then hopefully you can catch it, you have that slightly more yellow tinted steel in the middle. That's the VG steel in the middle. It's the harder steel. The whiter steel on the sides is a softer steel, but I think you can see that. But real quick, I just wanted to point that out to you. Anytime you buy a San Mai III steel and you're kind of curious if it really is San Mai III, you should be able to look at the spine and see that color difference. I'm going to try to show you again, and you can at least I'm seeing it through the viewfinder, but you can see like a different shade in the middle of the steel. There, you can see it real good. It's kind of a yellowish tint, and that is the middle layer of steel. So if you're curious if you have actual San Mai III, you should have your chrome colored steel, your more yellowish tint steel in the middle. And I say yellowish, but it's just a different shade of color. And then you have your other layer on the side. So you should see the different colors in there, or the two different colors. You have the the kind of the chrome colored steel, and then you have the yellow tinted steel, and then you have the other chrome colored steel. And you should be able to see that. And you can kind of see it on the edge, but I'm not going to be able to show that to you. But that is it. That is the San Mai III, and how you can tell if it is actual San Mai III steel. And I'm going to tell you about our experiences with these knives. Most of you have probably seen our bamboo cutting test with the sk5 version and the San Mai III version. And we said that the San Mai III cut a whole lot better. It was a lot smoother in the bamboo. You didn't have splintering like the other one. That's because this is a convex edge and this is a flat grind. Some of you who know swords and knives and stuff know that the Japanese, in making their katanas, they use a convex edge on their katanas, and it just cuts a lot easier. Because you don't have the friction going up the blade. I want to see if I can illustrate this to you. But when you have this flat grind, when you're cutting, the material that you're cutting is constantly rubbing against the sides of the blade. So that's creating drag, and the blade slows down, and it's just more friction. So you don't get as deep and clean of a cut. Now with the convex edge, the way that it's shaped, it hits the edge, and then it kind of peels off and away as it goes up, and that creates less drag, and you just get a lot cleaner cut. And often you see hatchets and axes using this convex edge as well. Now, just real quick, when we were processing game, I think it was this last hunting season, we tested out the San Mai III on some bone. I don't want to get graphic, but when you process rather large animals like a deer, that's a medium-sized animal, you have to cut through some bone, and we decided to test this out for the job. And when we did, we were a little disappointed. It might have been poor cutting technique, I don't know, but this San Mai III chipped on us. And Cold Steel advertises that it's very flexible and it won't snap on you. But I hear that San Mai III also has a problem with chipping. And it had a, not a huge chip, but had a respectable chip out of the blade. So after that, we stopped using it. My brother took it back to the house and he reprofiled the edge and made it serviceable again. But that's not to say that that's a bad knife. That's just the experience we got from it when it was cutting through bone. This knife right here, flat ground, has the sk5 steel. We've used on many camping trips, and my brother was using it to cut some roots out of our campsite so we can lay our tents down without ripping holes in our tents. And he was not aware at the time. I guess he got a little bit eager to get his tent down, and as he was cutting these roots up, he hit a small rock, and it made a small chip, a lot smaller chip than the sk5, and he also reprofiled this edge. But then again, rock versus steel, rock's probably going to win. It's not good on your knives to hit them. But I wanted to point that out to you, that both of these knives have been used, they have been abused, and they have both chipped on us. The San Mai III one chipped a little bit more on us than the sk5, but they have both been used. We both kind of know what to expect. My brother still rather uses the sk5 for camping, and the San Mai III, he's kind of keeping it as a collectible. To tell you the truth, if I had to choose which one I was going to take camping and which one I wasn't, I was probably going to take the sk5 camping with me. The San Mai III would probably be a lot better self-defense knife, even though we did have that little chipping issue with the bone. But I believe with the convex edge in a self-defense situation would probably leave you in the advantage. Also, I wanted to point out something that I thought that was odd. I don't know if you can see it in here on the camera, but the San Mai III from Cold Steel came with that Kedora sheath. It's like a nylon sheath, and the sk5 came with leather. Now I'm kind of curious why the more expensive San Mai III blade came in Kedora as opposed to the cheaper blade came in leather. Usually leather says luxury. I guess that's not the case this time. But I did think that was pretty curious, and but that's what you get. You get a leather sheath with the sk5 and the Kedora with the San Mai III. Overall, I believe these were good knives, albeit the San Mai III is fairly expensive. But if you have the money for it and you can afford to get the San Mai III one, more power to you. But I believe everyone would be a little bit happier with the sk5. It's cheaper. It's slightly lighter weight, I believe. I'll put the stats in the information bar. But I just believe that for the money, and I'm saying this for the money, I believe the sk5 is the better knife, even though this one has the the San Mai III steel. This one is a lot better looking, but to tell you the truth, when you're out in the woods chopping and all that, looks really don't matter. So that's my take on the two knives. We did get a better cut out of the San Mai III when it came to bamboo, but overall I believe you would be happier with the sk5. That's just my opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to have many more in the future. I'm sk5. I'm out.